Emma had always loved the woods. Growing up, her parents would take her on long hikes through the forest behind their home, teaching her about the different trees and the animals that lived there. After her parents passed away, Emma found solace in those same woods, feeling their presence in the rustling leaves and the chirping birds. One autumn evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and cast long shadows through the trees, Emma decided to take a walk to clear her mind. She had recently inherited her parents' old house and was in the process of sorting through their belongings. The task had proven more emotionally draining than she had anticipated, and she longed for the comfort of the forest. As she walked deeper into the woods, the familiar path seemed different, more sinister. The trees, usually welcoming, now appeared to loom over her, their branches like skeletal fingers reaching out to grab her. She shook off the feeling, attributing it to her imagination and the growing darkness. After walking for what felt like hours, Emma realized she was lost. She had never ventured this far before and didn't recognize her surroundings. Panic started to set in as the night grew darker and the sounds of the forest became more eerie. The wind whispered through the leaves, creating an unsettling symphony. She pulled out her flashlight and tried to find her way back, but every direction looked the same. As she wandered aimlessly, she stumbled upon a clearing she had never seen before. In the center of the clearing stood an old, decrepit cabin, its windows dark and its door hanging ajar. Desperate for some sense of direction, Emma approached the cabin, hoping to find a map or some clue that could help her find her way home. She pushed the door open, and it creaked loudly, sending shivers down her spine. Inside, the cabin was empty and cold, with only the moonlight illuminating the dusty interior. She called out, but her voice echoed back at her, unanswered. As she turned to leave, she heard a faint whisper, like someone calling her name. She froze, her heart pounding in her chest.
Emma!
The voice was soft and distant, yet unmistakable. It sounded like her mother. She spun around, her flashlight beam dancing across the walls, but she saw nothing. The whisper came again, louder this time.
Emma, come to us.
She felt a cold breeze brush past her, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood up. The whispers grew louder, overlapping with each other, filling the cabin with a cacophony of eerie voices. They seemed to be coming from beneath the floorboards. Emma, driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, searched the cabin until she found a trapdoor hidden under an old rug. With trembling hands, she pried it open and shone her flashlight down into the darkness. A set of rickety stairs led down into what appeared to be a cellar. She descended slowly, the wooden steps creaking under her weight. The air grew colder and thicker, and the whispers became almost deafening. At the bottom, she found herself in a small, damp room. In the center of the room stood a table, and on it lay a dusty old book. As she approached the table, the whispers reached a fever pitch. She opened the book, revealing pages filled with strange symbols and unsettling illustrations. Her eyes widened in horror as she realized the book was a grimoire, filled with dark spells and incantations. Suddenly, the room grew even colder, and a shadowy figure materialized before her. It was a tall, gaunt man with hollow eyes and a sinister smile. He reached out to her, and she felt an overwhelming sense of dread. "Welcome, Emma," the figure said in a voice that was both soothing and menacing. "We've been waiting for you." Before she could react, the ground beneath her feet began to tremble, and she was engulfed in darkness. The last thing she heard was the whispering voices, now clear and unmistakable.
Join us. Forever.
The next morning, the townsfolk found Emma's flashlight and a trail of her footsteps leading to the clearing. but there was no sign of the cabin or Emma. She had vanished without a trace, leaving only the haunting whispers of the woods behind. To this day, the locals say that if you walk deep enough into the woods at night, you can still hear the whispers calling out for Emma, beckoning anyone who dares to listen.